Hello there, it's Sherry Truler with Red Apple Auctions. Today I want to talk to you about those unusual venues that you can hold your fundraising auction in. And this sort of developed because I read an article a few months ago in Small Market Meetings, and they were talking about using transportation museums to host events. Not auctions per se, but events. And I have held never an auction in a transportation museum, but I have held one in a transportation facility. It was an airplane hangar. So what I thought I would do today is kind of take you through some of the photos from that school auction so you could get a sense of what it looked like, but then also talk a little bit about unusual venues. And before I dive into the photos, I did want to talk to you about that. If you've got an unusual venue and your auction is going to be held in some place that people would be interested in checking out, make sure that you promote that in your marketing. People will be more inclined to attend your event if it's held in an unusual place that they haven't been. And if it comes down to your event versus someone else's, they're very likely to select yours over someone who's holding it in, say, the standard, hotel or something. On the flip side, it'll probably be more expensive for you to do the setup because you're going to have to deal with bringing in sound, bringing in catering, bringing in pipe and drape perhaps, bringing in AV, that sort of thing. That might already be contained if you were having it in, say, a catering hall, something like that. So let's go ahead and take a look here. This was a school auction held at an executive airplane hangar down in Fort Lauderdale. Isn't this beautiful? Those of you who are listening to the podcast, I hope you have vivid imaginations here as I describe this. But you can see the crowd here in the hangar, but all those doors are opened up to look beautifully out into the night with those twinkly lights. And of course, we've got some nice corporate planes here right on the runway to add to the ambiance. The positive was, in fact, the space. We had lots of space to work with here, 200 people. And you can see the silent auction is over here on the left, and people are not crowded. Again, just a beautiful sight with those doors open, nice balmy evening. The negative would be, one of the negatives is the slick floor. You can see it's a high gloss white. I am sure that the management does an exceptional job of, well, you can see it's not marred at all. It's very clean. And they didn't want necessarily having any black marks from high heels on the floor, nor did they want someone to fall down. So it was advertised that ladies should not wear heels. And if you look at the crowd, you can see people are wearing flip-flops. They're wearing loafers. There's not a lot of stilettos out here at all. So that would be, if you're looking for a more formal event, this might not be the place for you if the floor is not going to be conducive for that. The second caution I have for you here is when you're putting an auction in a high bounce area for sound, hard surfaces, everything's the sound can bounce. People won't bid unless they can hear what the numbers are. And we're going very rapidly, right? We're chanting those numbers out. So as you can see way back here, we had a sound system that worked well enough for the silent, but we needed extra help here in the live auction because that sound starts to reverberate. So making sure that you've got a company who understands what is going to happen in that live auction. They're going to probably have to bring in additional speakers or a different setup to make sure that it's accommodated and people can hear. Now, one of the in the article that I had read, they had talked about transportation museums. So I just wanted to share with you 3 of the venues that they talked about in case you happen to be in these locales, because at least you know they do events. One of them was in Bowling Green, Kentucky. It was the National Corvette Museum. A second one was in Roanoke, Virginia. It was the Virginia Museum of Transportation. And the third one was Pima Air and Space Museum in Tucson, Arizona. So those might be places to check out if you live in those areas and you haven't considered doing your auction in an unusual venue. Now you've got some ideas of what you might could expect. So there you have it. For more free ideas, I do encourage you to get my What Sold Like a Gem in 2010. It is my free item guide that lists the top 100 items I sold in auctions last year for overvalue. It's lovely for your procurement meetings. You'll like it because it gives you some strong ideas, and you can get that for free by signing up at redappleauctions.com. So thank you for watching today. I enjoyed our time together and look forward to sharing more with you in weeks to come. I'm Sherry with Red Apple Auctions.